We were driving from the Darling Downs to Darwin just after Christmas. We were moving, so we had the cat with us and had prepared for the possibility of having to camp. We had two interesting experiences. The one night that we camped, we pulled off the highway in Channel Country, somewhere north of Winton. There was a cattle truck, a large rocky hill, and a dry creek. The most exciting bit of landscape we had seen all day. We set up camp late in the afternoon as the day finally cooled off and settled down for the evening. There was a decent sunset and some cows rambled past, content to ignore us. Pro tip to those wondering, cats bloody hate camping. The poor thing only settled when we put her in her carrier in the car. Anyway, later that night as I'm dozing off, I hear a gunshot, and knowing our nation's proud history of offing interlopers in the Outback, it had my attention. Now, I can't really call myself a country lass, but I knew my fair share of them, and that gunshot did not show up all alone. It was quickly accompanied by the blaring of country music, more gunshots, and the rev of an engine. I'm going to guess a ute decked out for pigging, but honestly, I did not stick my head out to check. This righteous evening was getting a little bit too close to our camp, and I decided my husband, being unfazed apparently by the sound of gunshots, needed to be woken up. Now, at this point, there was probably no real reason for alarm. A bunch of young people blowing off steam, taking pot shots at the landscape. Good to keep tabs on them, but they were no B.J. Murdoch. Then they stopped at the end of our little cattle track, lights blazing, and started to dig. No more music, no more gunshots, just the dull scrape and thud as a shovel hit dry, dusty soil again and again. They must have stayed there digging for at least 15 minutes. It felt like forever. And every part of me screamed, be ready to run. My husband set up out of sight behind the trailer as I grabbed my keys and wallet with a mental note that I was prepared to leave everything else in the camp behind. In due course, they moved on, finished digging, and disappeared into the featureless plains. The distance travelled measured by the ever-diminishing sounds of gunfire. I did not sleep that night, and as soon as the sun was up, we packed up and hit the road. Now, I know rationally that there was probably nothing sinister to the digging. They likely got bogged in the chalky dust, an easy enough thing to do. And my husband had been so calm. Yeah, he had kept an eye on them, but then he went back to sleep once they had left. I thought maybe I was just letting my imagination get the better of me. But you know, man, the vibe was all sorts of wrong. So I felt somewhat vindicated when the next day, heading to Mount Isa, my husband stated, I was really worried last night. Neither of us checked the earth at the end of the cattle track. The other one was the same trip. We joked about Devonshire tea and murder as we were moved on by police in Larimer. Check out Last Stop Larimer on Netflix for that one. Let's just say we turned up on the day they were searching the septic tank.